Eh,
Okay, we are live. So quick intro about Srini. Srini has been in the industry for close to 3 decades. I've known him and right from the beginning, we worked together. Srini, I would say, is highly technical and also hands-on. And when I started this group, Srini jumped in and said, "Hey, Prem, I'll be more than happy to present anything." So I was happy that he volunteered. I've known him for right from the beginning. Uh, and then, with respect to that of today's topic, as I was mentioning, it's going to be personal agents in action. Again, the modus operandi would be Shini plans to give the session for I think 30 to 40 minutes, and then we can open up for Q&A. In the meanwhile, you can also use the Zoom chat for any queries. So feel free to type in your queries, and then I'll collate, or if you stay back, you can also ask those questions. Okay, without dealing any further, over to Shini. Shini, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Prem. Hope I am audible, Prem.
Yes, Shini.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. If you're in US or North America, good morning if you're in India. So Srini here. So where do I live? I'm in Calgary, Canada. So that's where I live. What do I do? So I'm an AI consultant, and I'm also working as a CTO in a startup. My focus is building agentic AI platforms, products, and LLM-driven applications. So that's my primary focus. And I've been in IT industry for more than close to 3 decades. Don't judge my age. So what I've been doing is technology consulting. That's what I've been doing for more than 2.5 decades. Then got into AI. I'm a builder and leader. I do both. I'm pretty hands-on too. So happy to be here. Happy to share. Happy to learn. Today's focus is introducing you to the personal agents, how it operates, how you can set up some direction if you're interested to set things up. I can go a bit technical too if there is an interest, but we can restrict to functional approach as well, right? So we'll depending on the audience interest, I'll adjust. So why do I do personal agents? So there are two things. One, it improves my personal productivity. It helps me. It's like an assistant to me. Two, there are some good patterns, pattern that are implemented in the personal agent so that I take it to my work when I build the agentic AI. So if you go deep, you'll have both professional benefit, personal benefit. And please stop me anytime if you have question. It's not like we don't have to reserve for the end. Okay, so I'll assume like audience is like kind of a mixed who doesn't know much about agents and who are good in agents. So pardon me if I'm covering some basics, but I want to cover all the audience. So what is happening? There are three paradigms, right? The traditional web application, how it works, operates, you click, it responds. Pointed, very deterministic outputs. There is no memory of earlier interactions, earlier sessions. There is not much of intelligence. So that was our earlier 15 years old applications do, right? So then at least 5 years back or 2022 when ChatGPT came in, so that's where the assistant took over. So it had, when it launched, it was conversational. It was responding to prompts, right? It had some memory, some intelligence, but it was still assisting us. So then came the agent, agent A, agents and agentic AI. So the key difference between assistant and agent is like you set a goal and the agent gets it done for us, right? It's autonomous. It can reason. It can take decision. It can also do act on your behalf. So that is the power of agent. But how much autonomous city we give to the agent, it's up to us. Critical activities, always human in the loop is there. If it is non-critical, it can be autonomous, right? So how much autonomicity we give to an agent purely depends on the need. But this is the paradigm shift that has happened. Maybe application to assistant took a lot of time, but assistant to agent is like very fast. And as you all would have heard in AI world, every month is like a couple of years of development, right? So it happens so fast. The development speed is so high. Okay, again, for some it may be sound basics, but I want to set the context. And so how does the AI agent loop works? So I want you to think like a human mental model. How does some human mental model works? If you are given a task, if you are given a goal, we first perceive that goal, then we think about it, and we act. During this process, we also refer to our old memory to see how I've done, how others have done. And we use tools, and then we complete the goal, right? So in this process, once we are done, what we do, we also learn that and keep it in our memory. That's how a human mind works. Hope you relate to that. So the AI agent model is also designed in a similar way. It's a digital twin of human mind, right? Agent replicates the same loop, right? Again, it goes in a loop. As a human, if you're asked to do certain activity, we also go in a loop. For example, book a flight ticket. We go to multiple websites, figure out what is the best deal, and then do that in a loop and book the ticket at the end. Right? If you can apply this pattern in human mental model approach. So if you do a AI agent, it will also do the same thing. So it can think, it can refer to the old memory, it has access to all the tools, and finally it will act. In all this process, it will also learn, put it in the memory so that next time when this activity happens, it also does a better job. So this is the agent loop. Any questions here? I'll stop here. Okay, I'll assume no. Okay, so we are talking about personal agent today. So then came the OpenClaw moment, right? So when did it happen? It happened in January this year, just 4 months back. So it was in development probably November, December, but it got very popular in January. Peter, who is the developer, he made it public, invited testers, public contribution. So it really picked up very fast. Numbers, one of the top 20 most starred repo. I think it has close to 360K stars now and 75K of fork in the GitHub. That means it is adopted by a wide public. A lot of code development is also happening. It is continuously evolving. So that is the OpenClaw moment, similar to ChatGPT moment in 2022. Right. So when ChatGPT came in, everyone embraced AI. That's when it happened, or generative AI. Right. So we all embrace generative AI. Similarly, in personal agent space, OpenClaw moment is something to call out. Okay, is it good enough? Is it doing magic everywhere? You're looking at the number. Yeah, people are liking it. They are leveraging agentic capability, intelligence capability, and getting things a lot of done. Right. So they're doing that. So no doubt. But it also had we have to do some reality check as well. So since it was open source so quick, the development happened fast, it had a lot of security issues. CrowdStrike reported one. A lot of prompt injection is a possibility. So many vulnerabilities got reported in OpenClaw. Cisco also did some testing and reported a lot of issues. So when I tried, first-hand experience, so there were a couple of challenges in OpenClaw. Before going there, how do people use personal agents, right? So how do I use? So I've set up, now I moved from OpenClaw to goClaw. I'll cover that. But I've set up a personal agent for my family to use. We are a family of 3. So all three of us share the agent. It helps us in tracking my action items. I randomly throw it. It really captures, summarizes, consolidates for me, nudges me when the remainder, it sends out the remainder, it sends out a summary. So it really helped me to organize myself really well. So that's one use. It helps me to summarize various technology trends, news. It helps me to catch up with news, with technology trends. It sends a summary. I also record my wins, my learnings, my habits into the system. So these are some of the things I use. But it also has a capability to many other people in the globe have used for many different purposes. So they've done it as deployed it as a marketing agent. It goes to the X, runs the feed, understands the post, set an interest, summarizes it, automatically posts it, promotes the product, promotes the service, automates the customer support in the X or in emails, helps them to book tickets, and then what else? It pays their payment, etc., etc. But I haven't given so much power to the agent in my instance. I want to keep it as my assistant, which will help me to improve the productivity. Obviously, because of security reasons, it's still early, right? So we cannot completely trust and give all financial information to the agent. That is the caution I've done. And many people also do this in a Mac Mini that runs very stable. So I run in my another laptop because I don't want to expose my work laptop, other lap, the laptop where I have all the data. I don't want to expose that. So I have another laptop. It runs in that. It was running in that. I moved away from OpenClaw. By the way, I'll share my experience. So these are some of the use cases. People started using personal agent. So I'll stop here again. Any thoughts, any comments? How do you use, anyone in the group uses OpenClaw or similar tools?
Haven't used this, but can we go back to the previous slide, please, where you have that loop?
Yeah.
Looks like, as a part of the thinking phase, there will be a planning phase and then execution of the different steps using the tools, right? Is that correct?
Right, that's correct. This is generic agent loop. Some take different approach. OpenClaw may take different approach. goClaw will take a different approach. But yeah, this is the overall design pattern.
Got it. And the planning will happen with the help of LLM. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So the agent outside harnesses, it takes the context. For example, if someone asks the agent to do certain things, it will take all the context. It will work with LLM to design, to plan, and it will act. So this goes in a loop. But yes, to answer your question, LLM also will be used.
Okay, got it. In the memory, whatever the previous step results were, will be used as an input for the next step, I would assume, right? Is that what
Yes,
you mean?
that's correct. That's again a pattern. It depends on agent how it implements. But you are right. We will write back to the memory. It's best practice to write back to the memory.
Okay, got it.
Okay, any users of OpenClaw or similar personal agents? Prem, do you use it?
I would say more than a personal agent. It's for automatic some of my work. So I use Claude Coworker. Fundamentally, it follows a similar pattern, but then it's a purpose built for something else. I've started with OpenClaw, but because of some of the security issues, I just stopped. I'll also talk
Okay.
about NVIDIA's version of it.
Yeah.
I'll,
That's correct. That's correct. Okay, good. I'll go deep on my first-hand experience on OpenClaw. By the way, I moved away from OpenClaw for these reasons. So one, the setup was not easy. It was a bit complex. Initially, I tried few weeks back, so the documentation was still poor. So it was a bit challenging to set up, but I crossed that. But when I was using it, there are a couple of problems. One, it had no multi-user setup. So I wanted to set this up for my family. We all use it now. So that was not there. Then its architecture and its design enables high token cost, right? So the very token intensive, the OpenClaw. So that is one challenge. And then there was also a challenge with model switching. So typically best practice, if you're trying first to set up, give a frontier model like Sonnet or OpenAI models. Use that, provide that intelligence to the engine, and then set it up, because initially it will go through some challenges. Then you switch to the free models. So that is the approach I took. That's the best practice generally. When we switch over to free models, obviously I use OpenRouter. That way I have a broader access to broader models, set of models. So I had a lot of challenges in making OpenRouter free to work with OpenClaw. It happened to me. It said when it started, OpenClaw started, it said it is starting with the OpenRouter free model, free router. It was clear in the message. So I assumed it's running in that. Then one day of usage, I later realized that it used Opus, my earlier model setting. Then once it got into that state, I was not able to fix it at all. I changed the JSON files, config files, restarted. I did so many things, tips, tricks, but it did not cooperate with me. So that was a big problem for me. Yeah.
Quick thing. So do you want to just give a brief overview about the OpenRouter so that people are familiar with that?
Okay, sure. So there are 3 companies who provide models. Right? How do we get as a user access to models, LLM models? There are 3 major companies. You can go to Anthropic for cloud models, GPT models with OpenAI, Gemini models with Google. Or you can also go to cloud service providers. Okay, there is some background noise. Okay. So either we can go to these 3 providers or cloud providers and get access to the models. That's how we get access to the models. But if you take this approach, you are restricted to that company specific models, right? Anthropic will give only 3 models: Haiku, Sonnet, Opus. Similarly, other companies. But OpenRouter is a place where you can go get inference capacity. Basically, you can buy any model. Okay, let me show you. That will make it clear. So if you see OpenRouter, all these models are available through OpenRouter. Right? So you wanted a text model, there are various models available. If you want free, so there are a lot of free models that's also available. You don't have to pay. Obviously, you got to buy some credits. Only then OpenRouter will allow you to access free models. But yeah, even if you do a credit of $10, it gives access to it with some usage limits. But that's okay. Works with that. We can work with that. So these are some of the free models that you can use, right? When you make your agent to use these free models, OpenRouter will not charge you. So for example, you want to use Haiku, right? So if you want to use 4.5, so you'll be charged at this rate. Right? So OpenRouter, it's a model service provider, LLM model service provider. It will host 600 plus models. It hosts 600 plus models, free commercial, and you can connect to OpenRouter. Your agent can connect to OpenRouter. You can mention which model to use for which action, and OpenRouter will charge you for that. Any questions?
Thanks, Srini.
Okay, so coming back to my problem, my challenge. So OpenClaw was giving a lot of challenge. Then other problem is it's also very memory intensive. It takes 300 MB of memory. It behaves slow. So all that was the problem for me. And I already explained my need for the personal agent. So it's all personal productivity. It's not doing very complex work. So then I thought I should switch to the alternative. So then I picked goClaw. There are many claws available. goClaw. What else? Mini claw. There are so many claws available, open source. You can go pick it up. But I picked up goClaw because that was the best alternative for OpenClaw. And I've been using goClaw for some time now, and I'm happy. Whatever problems I had with OpenClaw, I didn't have it. Does that mean can you go away from OpenClaw? I would say no. Wait and watch. I'll say why. So this is my understanding, my usage of both, based on usage of both of these tools. Right. So this is my comparison between goClaw, OpenClaw. I'll keep it high level. Both are open source, goClaw and OpenClaw. You can tinker with it. You can make enhancement. You can contribute to it if you're a developer, if you're a builder. But both are open source. But goClaw, there is an 8-stage agentic workflow. So all of that is visible to you. I'll explain in the next slide. Just hold it. But in OpenClaw, the core loop is a closed package. So that is one challenge with OpenClaw. If you want to tinker, you want to simplify something, you cannot do it. Then storage-wise, it's goClaw stores certain behavior identity details in Markdown files, but 90% of the data is in the database. And it also has a semantic database support. But OpenClaw stores everything in the Markdown files. So the challenge with this approach, what OpenClaw takes is if you do this, keep doing this for 3 months, 4 months, 1 year, keep the agent, then the initial context become huge, token usage again will go high, and it will not be efficient too. So that way I found goClaw better. So deployment, you can self-host. If you're buying a Mac Mini, it runs really well. Both of them really runs well, but goClaw runs fast. goClaw has multi-user support. OpenClaw is only single user. So like I was talking about token efficiency, that's again related to how it creates the context, sets the context, and passes to the LLM. So OpenClaw uses a lot of LLM sub-agent. So that's one challenge. Channel support wise, goClaw has limited. It has only these 5 channel support. OpenClaw has a lot of support. You can even iMessage from your phone. You can text to your agent and ask it to do something. Right. For example, yesterday I was outside. I was in a particular place with friends. I said, hey, I said my preference and asked my agent to do good research on the good restaurant and a good place where friends can chit chat. It did a bit of good research and gave me a top 3 recommendation. You could still do that with ChatGPT, Claude, everything. You can do that, but it's a lot more convenient. Then it remembers that you went to this restaurant. You don't have to say. And next time you go, it'll refer to that memory and say, hey, last time you went to Thai, try different cuisine. Right? So such intelligence gets built with such purpose-built agent. So channel support is a lot better in OpenClaw. So by looking at my usage, looking at these details, I'm going to stick with goClaw, but I'm going to watch OpenClaw, monitor, and see if I have to switch at some point. Why? Because one, NVIDIA also is backing OpenClaw. Microsoft is providing connectors in its Microsoft 365 to OpenClaw. So the industry is embracing. Currently, it's very functionality-wise, it's kind of limited in some places. It also has a lot of connectors, a lot of skills. The industry is embracing. the large population is embracing. So we cannot just ignore that. So we got to monitor it and see if it has become better and switch to it at some point. But for now, I'll stick with goClaw for my need. So that's why I was saying don't go away from OpenClaw, monitor and decide later. And also, if you're interested, OpenClaw has a marketplace for its skills. Claw Hub, if I'm right. So you can go there. There are so many skills, thousands of skills people have built. You can go pick it up with caution, see if it has no loops and no prompt injection possibilities, etc. You got to be careful. But there is a skill marketplace. There are a lot of meetups happening for OpenClaw. So such backing is not there for goClaw. But it has all the functionality needed to be a personal assistant. So you can make a choice if you want to do goClaw or OpenClaw. But these are some of the details. Any questions before I go to next slide?
So it looks like PG vector embeds the data, and then it puts it in the PostgreSQL. Then it gets retrieved each time for memory. It does seem like it, right?
Yeah.
I'm just,
so that way,
maybe it's a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead.
Why don't you complete your thought?
No. I was saying, so because of that approach, at least to set the context, goClaw doesn't go to LLM. It is able to do with the local memory. But OpenClaw goes to LLM even to set the context to retrieve the details from the memory. So that way it is a bit token intensive, OpenClaw.
Makes sense. Maybe it's a little bit of unrelated question. So PG vector is using the embedding and then storing it in Postgres, right?
That's correct.
How good is the contextual search? I know that this is nothing to do with the contextual search. All it's doing is just like storing and then retrieving right here, right?
It is doing a semantic search. Yes.
Okay, it is doing a semantic search. Okay,
yes.
Got it. So if it's doing that, then what do you think? Like, is the performance good when it's actually using something like PostgreSQL?
Okay, so I've been using only for 2 weeks now.
Okay.
So it doesn't have a lot of data in it. But generally for our usage, if you are using it as a personal assistant, it should scale, right? PG Vector is also a good scalable solution for this use case. If you're thinking of enterprise having a lot of data, then it needs proper eval.
Got it. Okay.
For personal assistant use case, it is perfectly fine.
I was thinking about more of our enterprise one, but
okay. So if you're thinking of enterprise, we got to see right how it works. And if you're thinking enterprise, goClaw is the best because it has multi-user support, it has RBAC, it has hierarchy. You can separate using hierarchy of tenant, user, agent, and you can apply RBAC as well.
What do you mean by hierarchy of tenant?
It can have a context of tenant. You can host the same, for example, enterprise world. If you're talking about finance department, HR department, and you want to keep separate the agents, then you can do a different tenant approach within enterprise and keep the data separate. Okay. Right, in enterprise world, that's an ask, right? I don't want someone to access the HR database.
So you can restrict, is that what you're saying?
No, whether you can trust it, I don't know. But architecturally, it is designed for that. How much defects
My
is
question
there?
was, it wasn't about the trust, but you can restrict, is what you're saying, right?
Oh, restrict. Yeah, you can restrict. Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay.
You can restrict.
Hi, Srinivasan. I had a question about the same one. It's great content so far. It's very helpful. So my question is about multi-user. Can you tell a little bit more, like why it is better versus having many single users? Or I'm kind of confused here. Like, how does it work? Yeah.
Sure. OpenClaw, if you want to dedicate a separate, means it is tied to one user in OpenClaw scenario, right? So if you can make multiple Telegram, for example, I use Telegram. So you can make multiple Telegram endpoints to connect to the OpenClaw, but it will treat it as a single user. That means the memory, the context, everything is all, it'll appear as single user. If two different people wants to have two different separate sandboxing, you cannot achieve that in OpenClaw.
Okay, so does it mean that you and your wife, when you're using it together, the context can get mixed up?
In OpenClaw, yes,
Oh, I see. Okay,
but not in goClaw.
got it.
Yeah, the spouse may be interested to know more about us, but yeah.
So I was thinking of having multiple agents using OpenClaw. I did my setup, but haven't gone past that yet. So instead of that, having different agents for different scenario, I can set up a goClaw, and with the same setup, I can have different agents working on it. Is that what it means when you say multi-user?
No, you can still have multiple agents in OpenClaw.
Okay.
Let me show this. Clarity. If you see the screen,
Yes.
so this is the multi-tenant architecture in goClaw. Right? You can have multiple tenants. You can define multiple tenants. So it will keep the memory, context files, everything separate at tenant level and user level. If there is a user one, a.u1 will have access to different context files, different memory. a.u2 will have a different context file, different. Rekha, are you with me?
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah. So, but you can still have multiple agents. You can associate a particular user to particular agent. Or you can ask user to share all these agents. That flexibility is also there. What I meant having multiple user support is they can have their own memory, their own context files in goClaw. User one can have their own context files, context memory. User two will have their own context files and memory. So that way, each user believes or feels like it's a dedicated agent running for them. There is no context mix-up across users.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question,
Shiva wavering his hand.
Srinivas.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll wait. Go ahead.
I was just curious, why is that you had to run goClaw locally? So this is not provided as a service where you could just use goClaw, and was that like
Oh, yeah. So, good question. Yeah. I don't know if goClaw is provided as a service. I haven't checked. With OpenClaw is being offered as a service in many platforms. So instead of going through all these setup issues, just go by in many platforms where it is offered as a service. But goClaw, I don't know whether it is offered. But I just want to tinker with it, right? So I'm also contributing to goClaw, right? I fixed 2 defects so far in goClaw, right? So idea is to also simplify that and use it for me. So I just want to tinker it. If it has to be offered as a service, you can do. It supports Docker. So you can Dockerize this image, and anyone can offer this as a service. But I'll also check if there are platforms already providing that post the meeting and check that.
I was just curious. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Hi, Srini. It's been a long time. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Who is this?
Shiva.
Oh, hi.
Do you remember it or recognize me? No, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
It's been,
yes.
20 years? Something
Yeah.
like 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice to see you. This is great. Wonderful presentation. I'm curious, like, what sort of drove you to go down the approach of hosting and tinkering with this versus, like, and how much do you think this is valuable for you as a personal assistant versus, like, say, just getting like a cloud app or something like that, because it sort of displaces that functionality, right? Like, so if I'm using cloud app and I'm doing a bunch of things, and now they're starting to introduce ways to connect that to the GitHub Copilot, like they're trying to sort of connect their own agents. What drove you to this path, and, like, sort of why should somebody explore this?
Yeah, so cowork, if you pick up a cowork, so I also use a cowork very extensively. But the challenge I see with that is that its current form, it's very slow to me. Yeah, you can do a dispatch functionality and get access in your phone, but it still behaves very slow. It's still schedule driven. I got to do a lot of clicks and effort to set up some scheduled tasks. Here, I like the way of approaching through Telegram. If you're happy with other channels like WhatsApp, text, it's all very easy. So I go somewhere in a car, think of something, I'm able to quickly communicate with my agent. Right? Cowork takes effort to communicate. 1, 2. It also behaves slow. And third part, it also uses a lot of tokens, right? So I will keep my cowork to my official thing. And for my personal agent, I want to use such agentic support. So that's my thought process.
No, that's a very good answer. I mean, I definitely have that problem. That's why I was asking, is like, because I do work for my own open source stuff, and then I do work stuff, and then I work at Microsoft, so I don't care about token usage. But outside of that, it still makes sense. But I was going to ask you, like, how easy or hard is it with these agents to point them to a locally hosted model or something like that?
Oh, good question. It works seamlessly in goClaw. That is where I had big problem with OpenClaw. When Gemma 4 was there, I wanted to use it. I hosted it in my own instance locally, Olama, and I had big trouble in making OpenClaw to work with that. Maybe they'll fix it. It'll become simple. But when I tried, I spent one day and I could not figure it out. It was always falling back to, it was always going away from that. But goClaw, it's very simple. It's very simple to make it work.
It's so hilarious, right? Like, I mean, if you try for one day now, it's too much work.
Oh, yeah, true.
So, Srini, should I say Srinivasan or Srini?
Yeah, Srini is good. Srini is good.
Sure. So do you review manually? Because many times I end up correcting a lot. Do you also do that human in the loop for agents, or is it good at, is it pretty much independent?
No, the one I'm building at work, there is human in the loop approach for certain critical activities. But for personal assistant, I haven't seen anything. Yeah, it misses at sometimes. You got to make it work at times. Sometimes it misses the cron jobs, reminders, etc. But I haven't given it to do a lot of write activity, right? It's only helping me. So in that context, it is not needing it. 1, 2. I primarily use the free models and fall back to certain models only in certain scenarios. If you're very critical about it, you're relying too much on it, go with frontier models. That will work better.
And a follow-up on the cowork that you mentioned, is there anything that you felt apart from the tokens and of course the other thing that you mentioned, is there anything that only cowork can do and not goClaw or OpenClaw can do?
The connectors are better in cowork. Connector and the trust you will have on cowork is high because it's from Anthropic. the connectors are a lot good. You got to build skills and things like that in goClaw. OpenClaw has better. For example, the connectors that you have used in Cloud, right? Atlassian, Microsoft 365, Gmail, so SharePoint. So all that works reliably well there in Cowork. And the general trust on Anthropic is high.
Okay.
Otherwise, anything you do in Cowork can be done here as well.
Okay, that's great to know.
So my suggestion, if you're using it as a personal assistant, current form of Cowork is not helping me. And this is such a personal agent is better.
Okay.
And you have multi-channel support here in goClaw, OpenClaw, right? So you can make your Telegram to work, your text to work. There it's only the Cloud app in your phone. And that's kind of slow. Okay, any other questions? Good question so far.
Yes, Srini. So I
Yeah,
do have some
Prem.
questions specifically
Yes,
on
Prem.
So with respect to Cloud Cowork, pretty much our use case been we were using Chrome browser to control, and then we were sort of switching to PowerShell, basically to automate some of the Windows activities, right? But then the support from Cowork is quite limited in terms of trying to make it work. Do you see the same challenges in terms of goClaw?
goClaw, if you want to use your desktop or your computer use is not great. goClaw, I haven't tried, but I haven't tried it to be good.
Okay.
If you want to do a computer use, I don't think it'll work well. I haven't tried it, but I haven't seen it mentioned anywhere that it works fine.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay.
I don't think OpenClaw is good. You can connect the cloud and do a playwright integration and do it, right? So if you need such a extensive work, OpenClaw is better.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Shiva. I think I'll try out the Work IQ.
Yeah, so Work IQ is kind of like a sub-agent. So the way they're thinking about it is like all the agents will eventually connect through Work IQ and becomes almost like a Graph API equivalent for other agents to connect to. So you should really explore that, because you can contribute it back to goClaw, maybe if you build it, right? So
yeah. And Shiva, so I read about Microsoft doing a similar release as a Cowork. Is that through Work IQ or it is through a different approach?
So Work IQ is kind of like southbound API, if you want to think about it that way, right? It's kind of like trying to aggregate the Microsoft experience in every agent, right? So that they don't have to build that adapter for every single agent out there, right? So Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot is the quote unquote official work agent they want to promote. Of course, there is some team that's doing that. And then all the other teams are trying to contribute into these kind of IQ platforms, which have the semantic model for their particular product. Like, so if you're talking to, say, Excel has its own semantic model across their product space, right? And that is built over 30 years of experience around that thing. So there's a full Graph API backing. There is like understanding of every feature in Excel. So that they'll plug into Work IQ, and then agents will plug into Work IQ as well. So that becomes like a way for agents to grow.
I've tried Copilot agents too, Shiva, but I'm not a big fan of it yet.
It's not. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to claim those are very great just yet. But you know, a lot of people are working very hard, right, to try to make it better.
Okay. Okay, so if there is an interest, so this is the goClaw architecture, the agentic pipeline, 8-stage. So the initial 3 steps is about getting a better context for that activity. Then it goes into think, act, observe loop. It's a loop, so it'll continue till LLM feels it's done, right? So it'll continue into that loop. Once it exits, it writes to the memory and summarizes the context if it is needed. So every task we run, we ask goClaw to do, it'll go through this 8-stage agent pipeline. So in OpenClaw, this think, act, observe is a bit of a black box, right? If you want to simplify or enhance something, you will not be able to do it. If you are a normal user, you don't have to do it, but that is one architectural limitation with OpenClaw. Okay, we covered a bit. So what is that we can do? If you want to try low friction, try Claude Cowork. Claude Code has a remote control. You can continue that, or you can control that from your phone. So that is the only channel support it has. But like we discussed, you can trust Anthropic, and you can start with some automation here, right? If you want to try, this is the lowest friction place. If you want to tinker, try OpenClaw, goClaw. You can have your own simplifications, enhancements, all that you could do. goClaw again, installation is simple. One alert on goClaw. goClaw has two versions, light and standard. Light is supposed to be simplified version, but it has very limited functionality, so I will not recommend you to try goClaw Light. Try goClaw Standard. Not very big, so it's okay. Don't go Light. Light had setup issues, lot of setup issues, and limited functionality. So if you're a tinkerer, you're a builder, go with goClaw OpenClaw approach. You can also build your own agent. So I have one agent, health agent running in beta phase. So that was built using LangGraph. It has its own state machine, its own guardrails. So if you're building something on your own, it can be purpose built, designed, built for you, right? Without worrying other open source or closed box agents. So if you're interested to build, you can build your own agent and run it for you. Okay, so this is my last slide. So start, if you have not started so far, best time is tonight. So feels so empowering, powerful that you have your Mac Mini at home. It feels a lot more powerful that you have a cloud at home. You have an intelligent coworker assistant at home, can interact with it, and you can get a lot of things done. So once you start trying it, you will really feel that empowerment. So I'll stop here. Any further questions?
Can you just tell on a high level, what are the kind of tasks you give? A little bit more context. Is it like, okay, yeah, set me a reminder. I need to go to this particular party at this particular time. I'm just throwing some sample out there. But
yeah. So how do I use? I use like a true personal assistant. It helps me to track my action items. I randomly throw it. I'll come from a meeting. I'll think of it. Hey, I have to do this. So I just give it. It starts tracking. It automatically creates priority for me based on what I type. Depending on the criticality, it sets the date. So I just say, hey, track this. It will do all the work and add it to my action item tracking. It nudges me. It sends me summary in the morning. Hey, this is how your week is looking. Some of these you have not been acting, even though you have said high priority, but you're not acting, you're sleeping on it. It'll nudge you. So that is to organize myself. And also it looks at my calendars and give a brief. How is my week looking? So I use it for that. Then I randomly, all the thoughts is something that I dump to it. If there are wins, I say, hey, I did this well today. I ran 5K today, 6K today. So all my random thoughts I put there. I put my learnings there. It helps me to summarize. My daughter uses it to organize her schedule. She's at university, so she has 3 calendars to manage. So it summarizes everything and gives a very crisp summary, digest for us. Then other use cases, it also sends new snippets So these are some of the use cases that I use. Other people use for give a lot more autonomous access. There are people who has given access to their X, manage the response, promote their brand, given access to their credit card and manage their travel buying. So it depends on how much autonomous authority you want to give it to the agent.
Yeah.
So Srini, first of all, thanks a lot for such a nice session. I think you pretty much cleared a lot of doubts around personal agents. So in fact, one question I had was with regards to sort of credentials, right? Do you see goClaw handling it much better than OpenClaw?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Prem. Yes, it encrypts, it stores everything in database. OpenClaw, some API keys are stored in Markdown files, some config files, etc. So goClaw does a better job in safely storing the data.
Okay, that's good to know. And then just another follow-up question. So with respect to that of memory requirements and compute requirements, could you just throw light on?
Oh yeah, so OpenClaw, at least my experience, it took some 300 MB, 350 MB of RAM, and it also starts and responds very slow. goClaw is like 10% of that. It takes 25 to 30 MB memory and responds fast. Now, if you configure Frontier model, it acts really fast. If you go with free model, obviously Open Router will take time because it will put lower priority to your queue. So that communication time will be slower. But I would say in simple terms, goClaw is 10 times faster in terms of memory, in terms of speed.
That's good to know. There was one question, I think you indirectly answered it. The question was, does OpenClaw or goClaw uses the same LLM as other tool like Claude or Copilot? I think we answered it.
Okay.
The questions, I think, yeah.
I have a question actually. I know that you have been using goClaw or OpenClaw more like a personal agent, but do you have any experience about using it as a general purpose agentic AI rather than a personal one?
Solving enterprise use case, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I don't have personal experience, but I know a friend who's is running a startup. So he builds agents on top of goClaw for the enterprises. So I've heard from people, I've seen people used it. I haven't personally deployed it.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about one use case where do a search based on whatever the product repository which we have, and then be able to do some actions based on it. Where we could probably use some embedding, and then on top of it, some kind of like a agentic AI flow.
Should be possible. It'll work well, is what I've heard and learned. I haven't used it on my own.
Yeah, I would imagine the main advantage of this one is the amount of the code which you have to write versus what it can actually come as a part of the functionality, right? Is that correct?
Correct. That's correct. You don't have to rewrite that basic infrastructure of agentic loop.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
Right. And since the size of the code base is smaller, right, Cloud Code also does a good work. You just clone this and then work with Cloud Code. If you want to understand, tweak, simplify, all that is easier.
At least if you want to modify the code.
Yeah, you want to modify. Say you want to, whatever use case you talked about it, you put that in, you interact through Cloud Code, whether goClaw is out of the box works for this use case. It'll help you to do that. If it needs simplifications, if some over engineering has happened somewhere, you can cut that down.
So that way you don't open source.
It is open source, MIT license. goClaw is open source, MIT license.
Got it. Okay.
OpenClaw is also open sourse, but that
Mhm.
core engine, it uses a PyAgent core. That is a black box. You will not have access to that core.
Got it. Sorry, somebody was raising their hand.
I think
Yeah, Ravi.
Yeah, yeah, I had a question, but I'll request it later. No worries.
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions? Anyone?
Is it possible to share these slides, even the last one, Prem, if possible?
Yeah, Nagesh, I will probably upload it to our website.
Got it. Thank you.
Both of us. Yeah. Okay. Again, Srini, thank you so much. It's really motivating to try goClaw. This time I'm going to personally try it out and then see how it works.
Thanks, Prem. I'm happy
Thanks,
to
Srinivas.
share as well as learn. Thank you.
Thanks, Srini.
Yeah, be
This
in
was great.
touch. Be in touch if you want to collaborate
Again, I
or do
think
something.
probably if time permits, we can do a quick workshop, online workshop on goClaw.
Yeah.
Share and then try it.
Makes sense.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for joining. I'll keep you posted on the upcoming sessions. Thank you. Have a good one.
Hey, thanks, Prem.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.